Have you ever stopped to truly notice your breath? Not just inhale and exhale, but to feel it. To realize that with each breath, you are being invited to return to yourself, to presence, to peace. This is the ancient art of breath, not merely a function of the body, but a sacred key to awakening the soul. In today's journey, we'll explore the power of breath through the lens of pranayama, the yogic science of breathing, and how it connects deeply to our spiritual evolution. Welcome to the shifted self, the forgotten power of the breath. In our modern lives, breath has become shallow. We breathe to survive, but not to thrive, not to awaken. But ancient mystics understood that the breath is more than air. It is prana, the life force. It carries within it the very pulse of creation. And when we breathe consciously, we don't just fill our lungs. We open a doorway to memory, to clarity, to a version of ourselves that has always been waiting. What is pranayama? Pranayama comes from two Sanskrit words, prana meaning life energy, and ayama meaning expansion or control. It is the bridge between the physical and the subtle, between body and spirit. Through breath control, we can calm the mind, awaken dormant energy, and reprogram our inner world. It's not just a technique, it's a spiritual discipline, a silent revolution within the breath and the nervous system. Science now confirms what yogis knew for millennia. The breath is the remote control of the nervous system. Shallow breathing triggers stress, fear, and disconnection. But slow, rhythmic breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the state of rest, healing, and inner peace. With each breath, we can move from chaos to calm, from resistance to receptivity, from fear to faith. Pranayama techniques for awakening. There are many styles of pranayama, each with unique effects on the body and mind. Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing to balance the left and right brain. Kapalabhati, a forceful cleansing breath that awakens and detoxifies. Ujjayi, ocean breath that anchors you into deep presence. Brahmari, humming bee breath to soothe anxiety and connect with inner vibration. These aren't just exercises, they are rituals of remembrance. They bring us back to the sacred rhythm of life. Breath as a spiritual practice. Breath becomes prayer when done with presence. It's a silent mantra, a holy communion with the universe. When you breathe with intention, you align with divine intelligence. You say yes to life, even in its discomfort. You no longer run from the moment. You breathe through it, and in doing so, you rise. The breath and inner stillness. Stillness is not the absence of movement, it is the depth beneath it. Breath invites us into this stillness. It quiets the thinking mind and opens space for soul to speak. Inhale, receive, exhale, release. And in between the breaths, you'll find something miraculous. The self beyond identity. The silence that heals all. Healing through breath. So many of us carry unprocessed emotions in the body. Grief stuck in the lungs, anger in the chest, fear in the diaphragm. But conscious breathing helps release what words cannot. It opens the vault of our pain and brings light to the shadows. One breath at a time, we are reborn. Not because we escape, but because we face and breathe through all that once held us captive. Breath and energy centers, chakras. Each breath carries prana through the energy centers of the body. When we breathe with intention, we awaken the chakras. The root, grounding us. The heart, expanding us. The third eye, awakening inner sight. The crown, connecting us to divine wisdom. Breath is the wind that stirs the soul, and when we guide it consciously, the energy within us begins to rise, just like the serpent of Kundalini, spiraling toward truth. Breath and the expansion of consciousness. what happens when we breathe not just to live, but to awaken. Our perception changes, time slows down. We become the observer, not the reactor. Breath expands our awareness beyond the ego, beyond the story, beyond the illusion. It unveils the eternal self, the one untouched by fear, failure, or form. That is the true breath of awakening. You are the breath. You are not your thoughts. You are not your past. You are the space between the inhale and the exhale, the witness, the awareness, the eternal presence. So breathe, not just to survive, but to awaken, to return to the shifted self. If this journey resonated with you, let your next breath be a sacred choice. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to remember their breath. And subscribe to The Shifted Self for more soul-deep reflections. Because awakening begins with a single conscious breath.